as we also bring you viewers the visuals of how the Aditya-L1 is getting ready for the launch and how there are billions, not just Indians, but people across across countries, in fact, waiting with bated breath. And we are looking at how students are also there cheering on our country, cheering on the scientists who have put in the hard work, because of which we are seeing that today India's maiden solar exploration has been made possible. And we had seen, let's actually listen in as to what's happening on the ground.
From Kadalur district, this is the first mission of India to research about the sun. I am very proud.
How do you feel? You're excited with your friends. How do you feel? Is this the first time to you?
Yes, sir. It is the first time. I am very excited.
Your name?
Hanisha.
All right, viewers, so we just heard how billions are waiting with bated breath. Students giving out those statements, how they are also excited to watch the launch of the Aditya-L1 mission as well. And going back on the ground, viewers, to Sriharikota, where Dhawan continues to be with us. Suesha, over to you once again. Please walk us through the timeline. Please walk us through what's happening around you. We saw several students that had gathered there excitedly waiting for the launch, Suesha.
Oh yes, absolutely, Priyanka, and I really wish I could walk around more and talk to all these people, because this gallery is really swarming with space enthusiasts and students who are coming here in large numbers to be able to witness this historic feat in person. And it is quite an experience, so as to say, Priyanka, to be actually watching the Aditya-L1 mission launch from right here in front of our eyes at Sriharikota. This is the Satish Dhawan Space Center and the public viewing gallery, to be specific, where obviously it is very hot, it is an island, but despite the scorching heat, that doesn't in one way, even in the slightest way, affect the sentiment of all these excited people who have traveled from various parts of the country to be able to watch India's first sun mission that is all set to launch today from here. Extremely important, because not only is this our first sun mission, but also the very fact that this comes in under 10 days of the successful Chandrayaan-3 soft landing on the south pole of the moon, and very high expectations from ISRO. All the very many ambitious missions that are lined through this year when it comes to a manned mission to space, or even NISAR that is hopefully going to be in this year itself in 2023. And why it is important to understand the sun, because needless to say, it is the biggest source of energy for the very reason that life exists on Earth, and which is why, to understand the various changes in the Earth's climate, satellite communication, how the solar wind, solar atmosphere will have an impact, the magnetic field and the magnetic activity of the sun that changes every 11 years, the kind of impact it will have on Earth, any sun-induced anomalies that can be reduced or that can be worked upon if we are already in the know-how of it. This particular mission that is being conducted to study the outer atmosphere of the sun, that is the corona and chromosphere, coronal heating, coronal mass ejection, flare-ups, what happens on the surface of the sun, and what is the magnetic activity that really happens, because let's understand that in the core of the sun the temperature is as high as 15 million degrees Celsius, but on the outer surface it is 5500 degrees Celsius. So what causes this change, and then again the impact that this will have on Earth. This particular spacecraft that has 7 payloads, 4 that will be directly viewing the sun and 3 that will perform in situ particles. Let me quickly explain to you in brief, because these Lagrange points, that is L1, L2, L3, are in the same line as both the large masses, that is the Earth and the sun, and L4 and L5 that are considered stable Lagrange points are on the vertices of these two large masses. Why this particular point has been chosen, that is the halo orbit of L1, because here is that very place where it is the gravitational force of the Earth and the gravitational force of the sun, the two large masses, that has to balance out and be equal to the centripetal force that is required for the smaller mass, that is the spacecraft, to be able to stably position itself and consume minimal fuel to be able to survive and perform these experiments that will go on for over 5 5 years. Yes, the very many intricacies and factors on the sun that impact the earth, that, as we understand that, India, a part of that elite space club where we are not just exploring options of, how is sustenance of life outside of the earth, but what are the factors that affect life on earth. So all these very important studies that will be carried out in the course of the next 5 years. Also the very important payload, that is the VELC, which will be taking high imagery pictures of high definition imagery of about 1440.
ISRO. So it is an extension mission. This among the many missions that are being planned. So we are getting you these live pictures. Here you see in the gallery, extremely hot but fighting the scorching heat, are these very exciting students and space enthusiasts traveling from several parts of the country. There they see a picture of the rocket that is stationed on the screen right there in the middle. We are not being able to move around too much, Priyanka, given the network constraints that we are having to face. But we are stepping into a very short commercial break right now. Our non-stop rolling coverage continues here on Republic News. Stay tuned. We are covering every vantage point in the run-up to the launch of Aditya-L1.